Okay. See, this is what I was saying about this storyboard. It's just going to be a bunch of fucking post-its. It's going to just feel like it's random and it's going to be frustrating to view and it's you know, and I'm going to lose people. And I've already gone through all this because I can't tell the story without losing people. Now I've got my cameraman's fucking acting like he's a retard. And so one of the deals about the storyboard is I just have to accept that I'm gonna lose people. And again, so this is why the storyboard, all it is basically I've just accepted that this story is nearly impossible to tell, and the only way to do it is to start off with a storyboard. It's just this big clusterfuck of post-its and all this shit all over this board, so I can get it all on the board and then step back and then be like, okay, like, what the fuck, okay? So this is going to be book 4 of the Whitewalker analogy. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. The pile of shit is just, it's gonna, like the post-its, the post-it stickers and the red yarn and the photographs and the photocopies and the documents. This is gonna be a big wall of clusterfuck. The event's the easy part. I mean, even the event is not easy, but at least it's like, okay, here's the event. This is where I need to flesh everything out from the event. I need to start at the event, flesh out, and then once I flesh out, I'll lose everybody, and then step back and look at this whole board and try to figure out, how do I tell this fucking story? That's okay. You know, what do I got? I don't really have much to lose except for my life possibly, but, you know, life, what do you mean life? I ain't got a life. Okay, so the reason I'm going into book 4 or part 4, Whitewalker analogy book 4 here, is this is where it gets even more insane, where anybody who's viewing it is going to get even more frustrated and just be like, ah. Again, this is why I reference a storyboard. Nobody has the patience to look at a storyboard. They're going to look at that storyboard and say, you know what, I'll just wait till the movie comes out. See you later. But, you know, my hope is that that's not the case. That maybe these little post-it, these are post-it. This video is just a post-it. Maybe people might find this interesting. I find it interesting. Okay, so this is another crazy aspect of the storyboard and telling this story. Okay, for example, well, there's many examples to use. Okay, so 5 weeks before this big event happened with the arson, death threat, murder investigation, this exposure of the satanic cult, allegedly murdering this guy, and the cops trying to sweep it under the rug, running damage control, and all being taking marching orders from the local government and shit to cover this whole thing up. 5 weeks prior to that big event, I was doing video documenting of 1 to 2 busloads, large Denver tour busloads of non-English speaking Hispanics being bussed in to the hotel I was working at, the 8-story hotel in an industrial area in Denver. Every morning at like 6:30 in the morning, so it was being done. They were being trying to be sneaky, bringing these busloads of non-English speaking Hispanics into the back parking lot of this 8-story hotel in an industrial area in Denver that I was working at for 5 weeks. Every morning in 2022. And so I was getting video coverage of these busloads and posting it to my channel. Okay. Man, this is so difficult to explain. Anyways, so I'm exposing this crazy shit in Denver. And if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in Denver in the last 3.5 or 4 years in regards to illegal immigration, then it's just one more blind spot you're going to have in processing this story and connecting the dots, because there's a lot of dots to connect in the story. One of them being, it's just coincidental that I was posting, and I'm one of the only people that was posting actual video. I was on the fucking firing lines, feet on the ground, videoing with my own fucking phone busloads of illegal immigrants being bussed into Denver every fucking morning at 6:30 in the morning when nobody's looking, trying to be discreet, run the bus in the back every day for 5 weeks. And it had happened the previous year because I was working that job, same job every year, the same time every year. The first year I saw it, but I didn't fucking video it. So this next year is when I'm like, no, this time I'm getting it. If it's still happening, then this is definitely shit that needs to get out to people. And so I was having to be covert and put my phone in my pocket and so that people didn't know I was videoing it, and walking around so that I could capture video of these busloads and then posting those videos to my channel. And then coincidentally, that's when all this happened. That's when the fucking bomb went off. I get home, now all of a sudden I get home, my wife leaves me. And then I find out she's been part of a satanic cult for at least well over a year, and that her and all of her satanic cult friends are the prime suspects in a murder. And in day one, I get back from the job, I'm finding this out. By day 2, I'm getting a death threat, is there a connection to these videos that I was putting out? Because did you see anyone else putting out videos like that? I haven't. Whenever I brought it up to anybody, they're oh, well, Alex Jones did a video. It's like, what? One video or 2 videos? I'm talking about I saw busloads coming in to the 8-story hotel that I was working at every fucking morning, busloads of them. Okay, my point being is that there's all this other insane shit already going on. To this day, there is tons of insane shit going on every day. Like in 2019. All this is happening with me and my satanic wife, and during the lockdowns. You know, like there is always all of this crazy shit going on all the time. So it's kind of like, I'm going to go back to the Whitewalker thing, like Game of Thrones. You look at, using Game of Thrones as an allegory, you know, art imitates life. And so when you think of art imitating life, and you think of like truth being stranger than fiction, you know, in 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 like reference to, you know, a story like Game of Thrones. Look at Game of Thrones. Okay, so I'm referencing White Walkers. So remember, even at the very beginning of Game of Thrones, they saw White Walkers. And everybody's just like, no, they're fucking, this guy is saying he saw a White Walker, he's fucking crazy. Like, this guy's a nut. Right? And there's all this other stuff going on besides the White Walkers. So the White Walkers is actually like one of the main points, like the event. There's all these other events going on all over the place, and there's the event where it's the White Walkers. And so you got all these other events going on, though. You got like Game of Thrones, man. You got the fucking Winterfell. You got, you know, all these things. There's all these moving parts everywhere. There's a story over here with the Winterfell. There's a story over here with the whatever. Like, all this other insane shit is all going on. Despite how insane the whole thing with the White Walker is, well, you got everything else going on, man. And so this is like what I'm saying, like, it's all happening. So you've got scandal, right? You've got scandal. You've got fucking like supernatural shit. You've got political intrigue. You've got cover-ups and conspiracy and you know, dragons, and like it's all just like everywhere, everything. Even things that seem like they're not part of it are. Everything. It's all like becoming more and more connected, and you know. But not every scene is a flaming dragon, or not every scene is a fucking White Walker or shit. Like, there's just like tons of shit going on, and so it makes it really even more challenging. Okay, and so I'm like fleshing out this storyboard. See, that's another thing about, like, I'm fleshing out this storyboard. But there is insane shit going on right now. You know, the rumors of wars, rumors of wars. Civil unrest. Biological fucking warfare, vaccines. I mean, do I need to go down the list of all this insane shit? It's the Jays. You know, the Zionists are fucking ruling the entire globe, right? I mean, Call for an Uprising is putting out witch stories of these psycho bitches that are fucking chopping up their own mothers and fucking cooking them and shit. These are like stories that are in the news, you know? The whole fucking massive, what do they call that? The mass psychosis. You know, there's all this real shit that's going on. And I'm trying to tell this story when we're on the cusp of a fucking nuclear war. We're all surrounded by mobs of mass psychosis, NPC, automatons. Fucking Elon Musk is trying to finish developing the microchip that they want to put in everybody's brain. I mean, like, and so I'm trying to do this storyboard and flesh out this storyboard, And you know, and there's all this insane shit going on in the world, and it directly affects you and me when we're talking about biological warfare and genocide, and the Zionists are behind it all, and you know, and the walls of propaganda, these massive walls of lies. And when and then people think that I'm referencing mainstream media, and it's like, what, dude? Like, I mean, massive walls of pure fucking lies all over YouTube, all over BitChute, all over Rumble. Massive lies, and massively funded by total fucking grifting liars that all these like sheeple look up to as though there's some kind of truth, or like it's just all popping off everywhere. And illegal immigration, and then people claiming that, oh well, there is no political thing is going on at all, and meanwhile we got fucking 6 million fucking illegals have been trafficked in here in the last 3 years, and then people are trying to say there's nothing political going on, like just like massive walls of lies, and then all this mass chaos where nobody knows exactly what's going on. And so some people believe this, some people believe that, and then the stories just get more stranger and stranger. Well, it's the Masonics, it's the Luciferians, it's sick, and you know, it's you know, there is no political intrigue. It's all theater, or all there is political intrigue. There is no such thing as satanic cults, and I mean, it's just mass chaos, mass fucking psychosis, massive fucking walls of propaganda, pure lies everywhere, constantly, 24/7, nonstop. Then you've got, on top of that, you've got inflation. The price of a fucking hamburger's $9 for a little tiny hamburger. You know, gas prices, it's like $12 for a gallon or whatever. I mean, just like everything is popping up. Everything is complete insanity. And it's just one thing after another. It never fucking ends. Fucking homelessness everywhere, poverty everywhere. All of that's completely swept under the rug by all media. And all of this is intertwined in this story. All these things that I'm talking about, like biological warfare and vaccines and millions of illegals and mobs of mass psychosis. This didn't all just happen today or last week or last month. This has been going on all this time. So while my event was taking place, I'm talking about there's already all this insanity going on everywhere. Mass psychosis, walls of fucking propaganda, miles thick walls of propaganda, fucking AI bots everywhere, fucking liars, you know, vultures, liars, thieves, populating 90% of the entire internet, let alone like the populations, like all these people losing their minds, going completely insane out in the real world, your neighbors, who knows what's going on. Like all this stuff was happening, you know, a year before the event, 2 years before the event, 3 years before the event, 4 years before the. So there's all this insane shit in the event. So when I go back to using Game of Thrones as the allegory, it's the same thing. You got all this insane shit going on. Not even to mention the Whitewalkers, you got everything popping off. Everything that I'm describing is the same shit that is depicted in art forms, like Game of Thrones, and because art imitates life, and when truth is stranger than fiction, sometimes the only way to illustrate the truth is in a story like They Live. That's why they say They Live is a documentary. It actually is, in more ways than we may even know. It might be more literal than we even know. But like, you know, Game of Thrones is like, you got all the same thing. There's all this insane shit happening all the time, on top of the fact that there's White Walkers. So when you can't even process all this insanity going on, and on top of that, there's White Walkers. Well, of course, somebody sees a White Walker and they're like, dude, I saw a White Walker. And everybody's like, oh my, nobody's hearing it. Why? Because everybody's talking about the biological warfare of vaccines or the political theater. You know, nobody's gonna even be hearing nothing about no White Walker. And especially if it's just some nobody. Oh, this nobody guy, huh? He saw a White Walker. He's not just trying to get attention or trying to get clickbait so he can be the next famous YouTube influencer, huh? Yeah, right. You know, nobody is going to believe it. Which is ridiculous because they'll believe that there is a massive global conspiracy of biological warfare through the jibby jabs, and all. They'll believe the most insane shit. But if you say, well, actually that's happening in this little tiny 2-mile radius town of 2,000 population people out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, right. Those same people that are believing that, oh yeah, everybody's dropping like flies from COVID or from the JB jabs or the fucking WEF. It's a new world order. Like they drink this Kool-Aid all day long, but you tell them that something crazy like that is happening in some small town and it happened to you in some tiny town out in the middle of nowhere, they're gonna be like, yeah, right. This guy changed the channel. I want to hear the Corvette report. I want to Where's the internet influencer? I like those internet influencers because they're telling the truth anyway, and their videos are so they're really done really well. They're very well produced, and you know. So why would I listen to some guy who's just videoing himself with a fucking cell phone in a trailer, some white trailer trash, trying to tell me he saw a White Walker or some dumb shit? You know, all of this, everything is part of this, and so it's difficult to not want to talk about, you know, things that are happening. Like right now, like everybody, it's the Jays, it's the Jays, it's the Jays. You got all this mass psychosis, all kinds of dumb shit popping off, and it has been for years. And it's like, I mean, and all of it is all related. And so sometimes, yeah, I'll get distracted because I get so fucking blown away at these mobs of mass psychosis, like brain dead, hive mind, fucking like echo chambers of people that are the most ridiculous. It's the Jays. It's the Jays. You know, and these stupid, like these arguments about you know, the left-right paradigm versus non-political, and let's just talk about that for fucking like, you know, 3.5 years nonstop. And then when somebody says, wait a second, why are we arguing about this again? Everybody laughs and says like, well, don't you know the reason we're arguing about it is because it doesn't matter. Look at this guy. He don't even know. It's like, wait, we're arguing about something because it doesn't matter? When people are saying there's White Walkers and shit, like, what are you talking? So it just, like, the madness is, this is like some H.P. Lovecraft fucking mountains of madness shit going on, man. It's hilarious, dude.